I don't know how many people are going to come on because I set this stream before I left and I didn't turn it on. But at least it'll be there for posterity. Yeah, I need to wash my hands too.
Yeah, you need to wipe that airplane down too if you're gonna shoot clear of it.
I got through my whole airplane and I had never touched the flaps, never sanded them or anything.
Yeah.
And I didn't degrease them, and I had fish eye. I sprayed that shit on there and that fish eye got all over the place. There must have been 100 little dots all over both the flaps on one side of them. And I'm going, oh fuck, what do I do now? So I just kept shooting the dope to them and filled in all them fish eyes. And it dried out, it looks okay. I don't see it anymore. We'll change places on these engines.
Well, I want to weigh this thing first. Yep, we got 3 and 1. Okay, good. So they do know that I came on. Get a look at John's airplane. He's got his final coats of clear on. You're not going to ink anymore? You're done?
No, I'm not inking. I'm just leaving it like it is. Looks good.
So we got 2 airplanes, no ink this year. Okay, so let's weigh this puppy. It needs to be about a ½ ounce heavier than it is right now.
What is it?
1535. .16.
Yeah.
Feels good, I mean, but I need to move that center of gravity farther back.
We can look at stuffs like a heavier tail wheel. Albeit that's probably not going to gain much.
That's the heaviest tail wheel you can get.
Yeah, that's one of the perfect times, yeah.
So that ain't gonna do it. Pick up the scale. 54 ounces. Need to go out and get my blue paper towels. That's what we need to wipe this with, seeing as it's been buffed, sanded, rubbed.
Are you going to shoot more clear on it?
Yep.
Get my airplane off the paint stand.
Three and 2. You wanna pick this up? I guess not too late. Yeah, as far as today went, I got everything out of today that I needed to know. Handle spacing and tail weight. So if I bring this at 54, if I bring it up to 55, that'll put it back where it was with the other balance, as long as I leave that tube muffler off of it. So I took an ounce off the nose and added a half ounce to the tail. Plus I opened up the handle spacing a half inch. That helped quite a bit. Started to come around. But I figure it would be better to have the clear on it than have the lead on it.
Okay.
I'm gonna bring it out. There's John's Liberty after final clear. Looks pretty good. He just needs to spend a few $100 polishing.
Yeah. To
What's that?
get my cow and stuff.
I would take it inside. Don't chance setting it there.
I was gonna put it on that table and got your airplane in there. You're right, if you're gonna shoot colors and stuff, I don't need it.
What feels good like that?
Yeah, till you put that 22 ounces of hardware in it. Okay. Have not flown the half A yet. Haven't even painted it. We're waiting on getting a bug sprayer so I can spray the fuselage with a bug sprayer.
Be all sitting there on the table.
Hmm?
The
Yeah, I see it.
mounts and the Allen wrenches and all that.
Want to sell your house?
Yeah, that's probably what it is. Spam risk. Call from spam risk. They call me 10 times a day. Spam risk.
The 0 ounce stunter, huh?
Yeah, it's all a bunch of bogus crap.
Yeah. They can't do it anyway, so. I need a half inch. Where's that
I
at?
mean, your lines are gonna weigh so much, you know, you can't, there's no way to do it. You can't have a 0 ounce anything. You have to have covering on something, that's in the way. So it's a moot point in even talking about it.
Not only that, they can't do it, so. Like I said,
Bob Hunt said it's about the best way you could say it.
it's gonna weigh what it weighs.
Maybe you can build a stunner that's too light, but nobody's ever done it yet. Nobody's ever done it, so. I personally believe it's all about wing loading. How many ounces a square foot is the wing capable of lifting and performing? And at what point does that run into the Nesbitt wall?
I'm not a proponent of the Netzaban wall. I can't get it open with that. I gotta go out and get my Allen wrench.
Jesus, I mean. Me neither.
Let me go get my Allen wrench. I like shit not to come off.
Here's my cow.
Okay. Here comes somebody up the drive.
Are you the homeowner?
No.
No? Okay. I didn't know if you're a homeowner or not.
What a difference the Allen wrench makes. Feels humid in here now. Hope we can get by with this.
I haven't touched this.
What them guys want?
Lawn, that's our lawn treatment people.
Oh. They plant weeds?
They're gonna be spraying the yard. So I wanna make sure the skates out.
I had a lawn service come to my house. I had no weeds.
Yeah?
They sprayed, the weeds popped up like you can't believe it. I think they put weed seed down.
Well, what I have these guys do, and I tell them this is what I want done. I want you to look over the whole yard. I want you to analyze it. I want you to tell me what needs, what it doesn't need. You know, what kind of weeds do I have? I don't know all the weeds. I know some of them. You know, obviously dandelions and junk like that. I know all about that. But nimble-will, you know, which I got a neighbor across the street here. His whole yard is nimble-will, and he treats it like it's zoysia grass or something. And I mean, it's thick. It's his whole yard. What happened here?
Nothing. That's just play.
It's got a gap.
Yeah,
That's where it works easy then, eh?
yeah. Too much sanding. It'll be fine.
Yeah, break out your hinge tape.
No, never happened. Doesn't need it. With 80 ounces, it would need it. But seeing as it's a 0 ounce stunner,
Yeah. Yeah, it's about as light as you can get it. Still have an airplane. I still haven't done anything with that mount, as you can probably tell already. Half A airplane's not finished yet.
nope,
Did you tell them about that?
it's on the back burner till I get this ready to go. Half A airplane is way down on my priority list.
Did that fourth screw go in there?
Yep.
It'll be ditch.
Must have held my mouth just right.
Yeah, that's what I always say. You're not holding your mouth right. My dad used to tell me that all the time. Yeah, hold your mouth a little bit different. Now get right in there. So I gave him a warning that said, if you smell a funky smell, we ain't making drugs in the garage. We're spray painting with lacquer paint. You got a half a roll of solder on there. Let's see here. Are you gonna do any more on the cow?
As far as paint goes,
Yeah, clear or anything?
no,
The spinner?
no. Don't need any nose weight.
Yeah, I know, but I don't think you ever put any clear on that spinner, did you?
Yeah. We got 2 foot of solder on there.
What's it weigh?
Eight and 6. I think it
Not
needs.
too much.
I think it needs another half ounce.
Yeah. It's only 0.2 ounces right there.
Well, we're fixing to make it more tail heavy right now.
Yeah, I would, I wouldn't be shy about putting anything on the back end of that.
Okay, so what are we using to degrease with? Let's take this
It's in
inside
there.
here.
It's sitting on the floor by the trash can there.
I just don't have enough hands. Never enough room, not enough hands.
Always. Always.
Okay, where is it at? Over here?
I'll get all my shit out of the way.
So the little roll's mine, the big roll's yours.
This is mine, right?
Yeah, I'm
You
gonna.
haven't brought any in there.
No, I'm gonna have to make it up.
Now I washed out some mason jars. These 3 mason jars are 3 anyway. This is your leftover clear from before. Those 3 mason jars have been washed out so we can reuse them.
No, this is junk thinner.
Why do we have a thing of junk thinner? This is junk thinner, this is junk thinner. This is retarder.
Yeah.
Fresh retarder. I just put that in there just the other day. So that's good. to
I ain't
go.
spraying that junk thinner on my airplane.
No, no. But you do have to wash her down really good. Probably a couple times since it's been flown.
First thing I'm gonna paint is white. Get the top of that rudder. I hope that it's, maybe I should put some PC 540 on it first. Except that'll change the color.
Change the tin of it. You got tissue on it?
No, it's a CA finish.
Oh. Sorry about your luck on that.
Well, I knew that we were going flying and
Yeah, no, that's the quickest, easiest way to do it.
feels smooth. Got a bug on there, we could almost encase him in some clear.
Well, hell yeah, he'd have a permanent little rider.
Gonna have to paper off this thing here. You know, the elevator spray, that rudder. I'm thinking that I'm gonna put a red stripe on top there to hide that
Find
line.
that line, yeah. You super glued that on there, didn't you?
Yep.
Well, I remember you saying something.
I was looking for wood glue, but couldn't find it.
As normal.
Yeah.
Shop ate it. I'm gonna get another rag and go back behind you and do that again.
Okay. We'll do this twice.
Yeah. Good idea.
She'll be shiny, shiny, shiny. The bad thing is I gotta start the sanding all over again.
Yeah, well, at least you didn't get too far involved into it. And if it wasn't for a good wood surface to begin with. If you guys are using this Sickums or M600 or whatever it is that Wendy uses, or these degreasers, you have to put it on there sort of wet, rub it in real good, and then you have to wipe it off. And it's the wiping off part that gets the oil off of it. The degreaser gets it wet and sort of helps loosen it from the surface, but and this will take the oil out of your skin and everything else. Let me sneak past here somehow.
If it doesn't blush, we're not gonna be scared of putting paint on it. I'm gonna really lay it on there. We'll test it back here, underside.
Do the cow or something.
I don't wanna do the cow.
Well, that's the quickest, easiest way to test for blood without having a big major part.
And I do the bottom. Lap time too slow. Let's see. Hi guys, been to the club meeting. I watched the flying session. What is John's line length? It's 64. Yeah, we know it's too slow. We're gonna put a different propeller on it. It's got a flat back prop on it. Just didn't have any smoke. Bottom. Yeah, I got what I needed out of this session, Jim. Found that, you know, I took an ounce off the nose and put a ½ ounce on the tail. And I opened up the line spacing another ½ inch, 3/4, 5/8, somewhere in there. Wide as a CAS handle would go. And that snapped up the turn some, but I took the lead off the tail wheel now. I'm gonna put it back on and clear. I got a big boogie right there I didn't see. Oh well, I'll work on that. Getting that off home. Big thing of epoxy right there.
And then, you know, there was another thing about that airplane I was flying today. You know, the finish is sort of crappy on that.
Yeah,
To stand way off, and doesn't look too bad sort of thing.
yeah.
That's the doctor paper. Yeah, so I bet you I could get that airplane down to 60 ounces by just stripping it and getting rid of that doctor paper and putting on
Regular tissue.
tissue, lightweight silk span.
Are we gonna go over the top again?
Well, we did it on twice. We got all your Windex off of it. All the grease. I mean, it's up to you. I mean, it's your airplane, so we've got the materials.
It should be fine.
I was really surprised that I fish-eyed on that painting of my flaps. And that was the only section that I didn't degrease. What I'd like to have is something over that so it doesn't accidentally dribble some fuel out of it. I don't think I got anything out here. Oh,
It'll be fine.
all right.
It'll be fine.
Okay, makes it easier to get in and out of here. Good already.
Gotta find my smoker. There it is. Okay, let's test the cowl, I guess. Not that I want to. Let's see. We need this is colored. I brought in the white. Get your airbrush going, I guess, for that.
Yeah.
You're the airbrush guy.
Hardly anything to do to it.
Got any 320 paper out here? 500, that'll work. Gotta repair my boo-boo. See, this is gonna get a red cap on it. I'll just clear it with an airbrush at home. Have that fixed for Tuesday night flying session. Should be 50-50. Does it seem like it's 50-50?
Yeah.
So what are we gonna do for, I guess we can just throw towels over this.
Spraying all right. Now, you know, because that thing's so small, take side two, please.
Yeah, it's probably gonna have to be done a couple of times. Looks like the paper's, the dope, we got the paper
Yeah.
swelling up. I'll get some clear on it anyway. Yep, I'm gonna have to doctor on this a few times. That's all right.
Yeah, Jim, 5.2, 5.3, that's exactly what we're looking for. Lap times. We had this painting and stuff to do, so we weren't gonna hang out there for too long. I was concerned with getting a good motor run for a whole tank. Managed to get that, even though the lap times were a little bit slow, or actually way too slow.
I will, I got white on it. It's white, but it's not very good. So I'm gonna have to get some clear on it and sand it and then do it again, you know. Gonna take a few times. Cause the paper's bubbling up, so.
Yeah, it'd been a little different if you doped that in tissue, didn't it?
Yeah. But it's white, so. By the time I'm done, you won't know it was done. If you look right in, the other side's not too bad, but you look right in here.
Yeah, you just have to sand that out of it.
Yeah. I'll get clear on it so that it gets hard.
You may have to come through and shoot some more white on it after that yet.
Oh yeah,
It'll all come out in the wash.
it'll disappear.
Shame you'd already started sanding off.
Well, it should be good. Can't say it wasn't sanded.
No. The shine's starting to come out on it. That's nice.
I could have went from where I was at without a problem,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
but
Just one of them being a little more careful.
seeing as that this thing is in need of tail weight, there's no sense in having lead on it. That dope.
No, I like the idea of getting that weight distributed around, rather than concentrated in one spot. This will actually give you some little bit more sand and room and everything else. So how long does the battery last on that little buffer?
I don't know, hour each battery.
You got more than one battery?
Yeah. Got two.
That's good.
By the time the battery wears out, the other one's charged.
That's good.
That's a $500 machine. It better be good.
Yeah, it's a $500 battery operated drill.
Yeah.
That's about all it is, but a drill. Although it may turn a few more RPM.
Oh, lots more. I mean, I've only run it on first gear. When you hear me running it,
Yeah, you can't run them on high gear. That's
no, it takes the pads. It'll throw
it
the.
stretches out about that big around. A 3-inch pad gets out to about 10 inches.
I don't know what they had in mind when they made it do 40,000 RPM.
Yeah. Using one of them little 2-inch spot pads like they use in.
Where is the non-tautening dope?
Should be right over there.
Nope, I got black and I got white. Gallon of gray and a gallon of white. Leader thinner. It's gotta be over there somewhere.
Gallon, non-cutting fluid.
The crystal stuff. Yep, this is the right shit.
I didn't shake it out.
We need to get a paint shaker.
Yeah.
They want a big money for them though.
A washing machine motor and some clamping systems, angles.
You can smell it out there now.
can, have they knocked on the door yet? Are they
No.
done?
They're done, they're gone.
They're gone? Oh, they were gonna knock on the door and say something to me.
We didn't.
Yeah.
She didn't do the backyard the last time. I don't know what she did front yard.
I figured that much. I don't think they did the front. I never smelled it anywhere. Yeah, I walked through the yard and smelled my shoes.
Hopefully whatever they're spraying ain't in the air and causes fish eye.
Well, we're locked up in here, so
That's why I'm in here.
don't go in and out the outside doors.
Here. Don't get it all over the place. I'm gonna add retarder. Maybe I better add retarder first.
All the way up?
Yep. Will I use it all? I don't know, but might as well make it all.
We'll use it somewhere down the line as long as we can keep it marked.
Okay, I just broke the golden rule. I've mixed up another quart, started with a half a quart, then added retarder. I poured it back in my jar.
Oh, okay.
I'm gonna take that home. And then we filled it with thinner.
Is that all the white spray with the airbrush
Yeah,
for today?
yeah.
Good enough, clean that out then.
Which one's your clear gun?
That's one that's out right here.
Yeah, I'd have been better off bringing in my top loader airbrush, but I didn't think about it.
Well, I thought you were gonna end up putting 2 or 3 coats on it.
Now just get it white, and I'll put some clear on it to get it hard, because it needs to be sanded, you know?
Yeah, you need, yeah, that's gonna take 2 or 3 hours of
Yeah.
putting a coat on there, letting it dry, sand it, put a coat on there, let it dry, sand it.
But at least it's white now, so it won't stick out too, like a sore thumb too bad. Okay, I'm gonna take John's advice and paint the cow a coat. Not that I really want to.
Well, it gets fuel on it, all that stuff. That's how I look at it. Gets handled up there a lot.
Well, if it blushes, it will be the easiest to repair.
Mm-hmm. That's my MO. I did that to mine. Better play it safe. Small piece. You paint just a little bit different than I do. You work faster. Do things faster. I'm a little more.
Not when I'm at home, but here, I don't have much choice. I'm in the wrong business. I need to get in the air conditioning business. $100 to turn on a switch.
Yeah, they $125, $75 to $125 just to come out.
Yep, in the wrong business. I think that's what Steve Hines does, heating and air conditioning.
He used to. I think he does it anymore. Got a bad back.
Oh, yeah, but tough work.
Can be. You're working in the attic. Some of these new homes, these big homes, they put them air conditioning units up in the attic, man. You gotta get down and crawl around on your hands and knees up there and 200-pound air conditioning unit.
Maybe come do what I do. Up, down, up, down, up, down.
I worked in commercial glass and lift 50 units a day on a swing stage. We're going like this. You got 400 pounds of glass in your hands. That and regular construction, concrete and roofing and everything. Digging ditches to putting a roof on them.
Okay, let her rip.
Should just be set to wait. I sprayed mine. Remember that gun shoots sort of high. It comes out like the top of the gun, like why I don't know. That's the needles bent in it a little bit.
Okay. Here goes nothing. Not thin enough. How are we gonna get it thinner? I guess I can pour this out.
Take that jar of my clear that's over there on the left side, that's got about a ½ inch in it. I mean, I
Yeah.
just used that yesterday. That's crystal clear with a little bit of retarder in it.
What's it say there? It says, I don't know. Make sure I'm getting the right one. There's so many jars and stuff over here.
There's only one.
That one?
Yeah, that's the one. So that's exactly the same thing as what you're using.
It's coming out too dry.
Make sure you pull that trigger real good on that gun, because it likes to,
Coming out too dry.
okay. Checking. Does sort of stick every now and then.
Okay, so we're gonna pour this cup back in there. And some of this. About inch. Okay, more thinner.
I know what it's like to fly like Mike McHenry does.
Yeah.
I don't see how he does it.
Very well.
Yeah, he does it good. He really does good.
That sounds better. Doesn't sound like honey.
You can smell the retarder in it.
Oh yeah, much better. Okay, now we wait to see if it blushes.
How much more thinner do you add?
A lot.
A quarter of a cup.
Yeah.
Or a jar.
So now if that doesn't blush up, we'll go ahead and shoot the rest of the airplane. Everything's a waiting game with paint.
Yeah, and it's always an experiment.
Yep. Let's see what the boys have to say. What are they saying?
They don't have anything.
Nothing, huh?
No.
Last word was go for 5-2. Yeah.
That's right where we want her. 5-2, maybe 5-3. 5-3 can be a little slow too sometimes.
I like 2, 3, or 4. Even 5 is okay. A little slow.
Starting to get slow, I think. Starting to, I mean, it's still flying. But if you start getting past the 5.5, 5.6, 5.7, then it's, I don't know, questionable in mine. You wouldn't think that, because there's not that much time difference. A second and a whole lap from 5.
It looks like it's gonna blush. Shit.
Put a little more retarder in it. Some guy seeing these says, do you have that CG worked out?
It is blushing. I just used all your retarder that was in here.
That's fine.
What's the humidity in here now? It feels humid.
Oh, it's 60%, 61 to 2%. Let that dry and then we'll hit it with that.
Oh, it's dry. It's all flat.
Is it?
Yep.
Go ahead and squirt some more on it and then that extra retarder in it and see what it does.
There's a lot of retarder in this paint.
Was that jar half full?
You want your other jar?
That little jar that you just added to it?
I don't know what it was. It was whatever was left as I added to it.
It'll be all right.
It'll be all right. It'll be fine. Okay, let's see what happens with all this retardo in it.
You smelling it now?
I don't know.
The retarder?
I can't smell it.
I'm smelling, I don't smell that either.
Well, if it doesn't blush, it'll look really good. Got plenty clear on it. May not get any more clear today on it.
This weather yesterday was borderline, and 2 days prior to that, it was perfect. The temperature was down, and that temperature came up, and the humidity was about the same, but the temperature came up. I really think that colder weather, hell, it's supposed to cool down there this next week.
got lots of retardo in it. Yeah, all these painting things we do is everything's an experiment. 10 and 10.
Yeah, everybody asks, how much thinner do you put in there, and how much this you put in there, and how much that? Well, every time it's different. I mean, there's a basic, you start off with half and half. But you always end up adding more. You just gotta start adding it till it starts shooting right.
CG is figured out more or less. That's why it's getting more clear on it, so I could take the lead weight off of it.
How much difference did that line spacing make?
A lot. It was, the line spacing was like I was asleep, give it up and it would mosey along and then go up.
Yeah. And then when you opened it up, it went.
Yep.
Yeah, something about that deflection, now you gotta watch about stalling it. Not that you can stall that light ass airplane, but I'm sure you could. If you made it like I used to make my airplanes when I was a kid, where everything moved 90 degrees.
Yeah, look at this, it's blushing.
Act like a big air brake. Yeah, I can see it from here. Yeah, it's blushing. It's a blushing.
Getting the thumbprint on the nose there.
And you can tell it in the red here and the blue there. Dry,
What?
almost dry.
No. Wonder if I put it in the sun, what it would do.
I don't know. Probably more humid out there than it is in here.
Well, it's an experiment, let's try it. Nothing ever works in my favor.
Don't say that. You've had many a times where it was if things came out right. Many times. Just look at this crash that you had. Even though the crash is a bad thing, you're very fortunate the thing's not in 30 pieces. At least 2 big ones.
You know, one side of this is okay and the other side isn't. Why?
Put on more wet on one side than the other.
No? I'm gonna hit it with another coat. I think maybe there might have been some of that old paint. What do you think? Inside, outside to dry?
Might as well try it outside. You've already tried it inside twice.
But how am I gonna do that with the airplane?
You can open this garage all the way up and let it be free flowing air.
It feels less humid out there than it does in here.
Could very well be sealing the humidity in. Let that run on my paint.
Yeah. All right, we're experimenting. I'm gonna open that back door to get the. Yeah, it's pretty shiny. They were talking about your airplane. You watching your flight?
Yeah, that's the second flight. I'm trying to watch the second one where I actually did some maneuvers. Did you try to trace them or anything?
No. Nope, I didn't do nothing. Well, that could have been it, that I had some of that other paint in there. Now that, you know, I got the fresh retarder mix in there.
Just take the blush out.
Oh yeah, whether it comes back or not.
Yeah, about 5-8 laps. 5-8, 6 seconds. Even on the second, this is the second flight, the beginning of it, finding out freezing the background.
Can't do that, bubbling the paint off.
Too much heat.
There's no blush.
Huh.
See that bubble right there?
Yeah.
It's dry.
Just take over the brush on that.
Yep. I'll have to cut that up.
Let it dry on that.
A bunch of bubbles up there.
Too much heat coming off that car.
Hmm?
Too much heat coming off that car. You got the motor heat room around it, plus black car and
Dry though. Keep your fingers off it though as much as you can so they don't leave your fingers blank.
holding it. Damn. I bet you it's cause all that retarded in there that doubled up like that.
Oh yeah. There's no blush in it now.
No blush. I'd be tempted to say,
I'll paint it on the bottom and see what happens.
yeah. If the graphic will do, we might be able to sand it out. Or it'd be better really to let it dry for a day or two.
Yeah. Well, we're gonna go ahead with it, see what happens. Do it on the bottom, see if it blushes up. We got the doors open now. I sprayed it on pretty wet too.
That's how I put mine on the other day, was pretty, real wet. Almost to the point of where it got run.
If it stays just like that, I'll be happy.
They're telling me my lawnmower blade needs to be sharpened, I just sharpened it. I'm not gonna sharpen it every single time I cut the grass.
Why not?
It was sharp enough you could slice paper with it, sharp as a knife blade.
And there's a lot of retarder in that. But there is no blush. It's got that bubble from sitting out there in the sun.
What you did the cal again?
Huh?
You did the caling again?
No. I did the bottom of the stab. And it looks pretty good so far.
Look at that, says, why does lap times matter?
Who said that?
Look
Gotta have centrifugal force to hold the airplane out on the end of the lines. We'll give it a minute here and see what happens. So far, no blush. I think maybe it was that paint, you know. Hadn't cleared the gun. This is the straight retarder paint. A lot of retarder in it. And if it blushes up, I can just get a gallon of spray shine and spray it on and it'll come right out.
No, I don't know about that.
It does.
I've never tried that.
It does. The reason being is base coat, clear coat, the base is flat. The blush will still be there, it'll just be shiny.
Yeah, well, that's not good either. Because they can't take it out, it's not taking it out chemically. That's the difference how the dope does.
No.
I did an airplane once that, well, actually, there's my Yak 55 downstairs. It's a prime example of a thinner not working right. Because that was 3608S, the new formula.
Yeah, it blushed.
Well, yeah, but it blushed real uniform all over the whole thing. And you
Yeah.
could not polish a shine into it.
No. It killed the paint.
It killed the paint, yeah. But the old 3608S worked fine. So when they changed the formula, it quit working completely. And that finish, you look at it, it's smooth. And
It'll be
polished,
everywhere.
you know, but it just looks flat.
It made flat paint.
Almost, yeah. Semi-gloss. Q-tips in
Now I got ball drivers.
there. Okay. Ball drivers, knife blade.
Yep.
Fingernail clippers. Whatever, little stick of balls of wood.
Come look at this stabilizer. I think it's gonna be okay. Pretty dry. What do you think?
I think you'll be okay. But it looks like you're spraying, how fast are you moving the gun?
Pretty bad.
Like, slow down a little bit. Looks like it's,
Gravelly.
yeah. Did you do both sides of that?
Yeah. No, you mean top and bottom?
Yeah.
No, just the bottom. Do a flap. To the right?
I think you need more thinner in it.
We can do that. And just keep adding to your can here.
Put about. Yeah, put about that much more thinner in it.
You got enough for another coat on your airplane.
See, it's not really laying down. Sort of like building up. Build up to some of it.
There's my room. I have to work on that cowl now.
Oh, damn it, damn it, damn it. Oh,
What are you doing, Barb?
filling a bottle of water. Yeah, There's water in that pot.
Yeah.
Okay. What do you think?
I think you're just moving too fast.
At the same speed.
See how this is real wet in the center? Right in here.
Yeah.
That's how I put it on my airplane. It was real wet like that, and then it laid right out. I get too many fish on one side and not the other.
There we go.
You make it through there?
Barely.
Right on the dot. You can,
I can look.
leave this door open.
There we go. Yep, needed more thinner. Okay, let's do the top of it. Looks like it's gonna blush.
No.
That's all I'm concerned about, the blushing. built up on this rudder. Turn it over. See what the bottom looks like. Yeah, looks okay. Shiny. What do you think? Go for it?
I would.
Yeah, not your airplane.
I guess you can have 2 fast lap times also.
Got plenty wet, it's bagging. What do you think? Gonna flush? I hope not.
I can't tell you that. You might flush on the big giant area and not on a little area. I don't think you're consistent with
More thinner? Bagging up pretty good.
bag of not necessarily telling you if you need more thinner or not. You'll notice it more on the solid surfaces than you will on these open bays because it'll look orange peely. It'll go from, if you're putting it on and it looks like it's sand texture, then you're putting it on too light. You're too dry. If you put it on heavy and then it looks pitty, then it's too thick a paint. You know what I mean?
How'd that look?
The heavy orange, it looks like it could use some more thinner. Cause it's still not really flowing out. Put another half an inch thinner in there, 5/8 of an inch or something.
Fill her up. 5/8 is good. 2 inches would be great.
Yeah, the little is good. A lot's better, and too much is just right. Spraying is there's an art form to this. It's movement, keeping your movement the same speed both directions and the same distance from the surface of both directions. If you got to bounce up and over something like this landing gear sticking out here or something, that can throw you off, and then the paint won't be down the same in this area as it is on either side of it. And like you say, people want a formula for this. How much? Well, how much thinner does it? Well, it takes however much it takes. You know, you gotta keep experimenting. If you look at what you're doing, look at your technique, how you're putting it down, and analyze all that stuff together, and then you come up with some kind of a situation. And it takes practice. You know, you learn it by doing it. So don't be afraid.
This laid down pretty good.
Just takes more sanding.
Yeah. Of course, it looks gravelly up in here.
Yeah, well, see, this is what I call gravelly, not sandy.
Yeah.
You know, which says that it's too thick. And maybe put on a little on the dry side in some of the areas, but not all of them.
That fixed it.
Yeah, you're lucky you caught it while it was still wet enough to make it lay down. Slow down. You're going too fast. There you go.
Okay, one more swipe on this side. We'll turn it over and hit the top. That looks pretty bueno.
Looks wet everywhere.
Here we go. I better fill this back up.
Yeah, don't start with half a cup.
I'm bummed out about this cowl. I mean, I can fix it, but it'll take a lot of work.
That much more work.
It's all right, I'll do that.
Oh, that's why you filled it up there.
No. So right on the side, I really enjoyed that, so it was full.
You won't be able to feel the letters now.
I move about that far each time, about an inch. That little gun, if you move much more than that, then you start looking like you got dry spots in it.
It doesn't blush. It turned out pretty good for a high humid day.
Probably at least 2 coats of clear
Where?
today.
So do another coat?
Yeah.
Might make it.
Slow down.
Nope, didn't make it.
Don't really like to run out in mid path because sometimes them guns can really start spitting, and then they'll spit out little drops, which you'll play hell getting them out if they don't run out on their own. Sometimes if you get some clear on them over top of them, and put it on real thick, it'll blow them out.
What do you think? I did it?
Yeah, quit irritating it. But you got an even amount of coats on everything on both sides.
Yeah. Is it blushing?
No.
No?
No, it's not blushing. You're not getting fish eye in it. Well, I got fish eye in them flaps of mine, and I ended up getting them out, but it scared the hell out of me. I didn't think normally you can't get them out, and I just kept loading the paint on it. And it finally just leveled out and bridged those fish eyes, and they didn't come back through, so I was sort of lucky on that. I'd let it dry for a little bit and make a wet coat on there and watch it, and it gets a little bit smaller. Let dry a little bit, put it on again. I made sure I put the same amount on both sides of the flaps. Don't put 5 coats on one and 3 on the other. You get a warp in your flaps. This movement, every gun's different. Like this gun likes to move about this fast right here, and about a 3/4 of an inch movement overlap. You know, move your overlap about 3/4 gun. Now another gun might want you to go this fast, and it's you always want to keep the same speed both directions. You don't want to go one way fast and the other way slow, because that'll give you overspray. You want to make the whole surface look evenly wet all at once. And so you got to sort of move whatever the gun's telling you to do.
Any blush on the bottom?
No.
Yay!
I think opening that garage door up help.
It doesn't feel as humid in here now.
Yesterday when I was painting, it felt humid. Barb's like, "You're gonna paint, man, it feels like there's water in the air." And I'm going, "Well, I'm gonna try, but I kept the garage closed yesterday, but the humidity wasn't as high. And I had plenty of retarder in it. And
As much as I got in it?
Yeah. I had at least a half a jar.
Well, whatever you had in that jar.
The half of that jar, even that much.
Whatever you had in that jar, I used all of it.
That's a lot of retarder.
It's drying.
Let's just let this gas off and sorry, it's sort of downtime on playtime because you're not actually doing anything for the camera, but I get at least another coat on it.
You think that'll bring it up an ounce?
Be close. A lot of thinner in it.
I gotta bring it up an ounce to bring it in balance.
Well, not necessarily. You know, because some of this weight's getting closer to the CG, so more weight doesn't mean the same as all the weight back there.
I know, but it was 0.2 on that, and I figured, this is my reasoning. It flew good at 57.5 ounces with that tube muffler on there. I took the tube muffler off, and it took an ounce away from the other one, because that's 0.2. The muffler with the weenie was 1.2, and this tongue muffler is 0.2, so I took an ounce off the front. 2 ounces in the back, or 1 ounce in the front is a half ounce in the back.
Yeah, at least.
So I added that roll of solder, and it was okay, but I could tell it needed a little more. So I figure if I add an ounce, which is 90% behind the center of gravity, that should put it right at 55.5 ounces, and it'd be right in there with 57.5.
Well, yeah, you're sort of throwing the overall weight in there opposed to a percentage.
I'm just guessing. I mean, I'm not Brett Buck. I can't.
Yeah. I understand where you're coming from. Some guys, the rest of the guys out there might not understand, but what I'm saying is that you can put an ounce right here is not the same as putting an ounce right there.
Oh yeah, but
you know,
all of this paint back here, I mean, there's not much, I didn't add much paint ahead.
Right, because you can make this 70 ounces real fast by just painting this part. And it doesn't make it any more tail heavy.
Yeah.
You know, because you're only working in this area right here. So if you want to make it turn more, put 5 coats on that.
I did.
You know, I mean, that's what I'm saying. You know, just the stab and elevated. And maybe this back half of this fuselage, because your CG's right here, you know, you want half that distance on back to get any weight difference.
But I needed more clear on the whole thing anyway, so.
Yeah.
With these 2 extra coats of paint, this thing should polish up super nice. Not dry on this side. Still bagged up. Still
No,
tacky.
that's the last one. Let the bagging quit or come out of it, and then we'll
But this
go with another coat.
smoothed out pretty nice.
Yeah, and I see you're getting it. You're just starting to see a little bit of sandy, what I want to call a talcum powder.
Yeah.
Not sand. Talcum powder. You got your different grades. Talcum powder is real fine, sand's coarser.
Gravel,
Gravel, and then
boulders,
orange peel, which is big, heavy.
like this right
things.
here. We got peel up here.
Now this is sandy on this side. That tells me that it was put on not wet enough. You're moving too fast. You gotta candle that spray and see that it's wet, and then or maybe you overlap just a little bit too far, and then that created a little.
This will come out of it though. Even if
Say, well, this will come out of it. None of this is orange peel. None of this is gravel anymore. It was gravel there for a while.
I can sand all that out.
It's hard to sand anything on this out if you get any kind of that in that. If you get it on heavy enough, it'll flow and it'll level itself out, and you won't have orange peel and all that stuff. But there's a fine line between getting it there and having to run. The dope is so forgiving. I mean, God, man, that's a nice.
I think I can fix all this at my apartment. You know, this area right here without a problem. It needs a little simple green spatula putty right there, and sand that. Maybe I kind of hate to put any DC 540 on it because that'll have a brown dot there.
You can't do that. If anything,
Brush on some white dope.
yeah, just keep painting it white dope. It's the same as clear. I mean, I knew it would do that to you if you didn't tissue it. That as soon as you hit it with dope, that tissue that's on there is going to come up a little bit. It's going to come up, and then you're going to have to sand it down, dope it, sand it down, dope it, sand it down. It'll do it until it smooths it all in. Yeah, let this gas off for a few more minutes.
All right, guys, we're gonna have an intermission. Grab yourself a soda or whatever. We're gonna go out here and sit down. How many coats of clear are you putting on? Today I'm gonna put 2 on. There's gonna be 1 more.
And I think at that point in time, we all
I need to go down and get a soda.
as soon as this next coat dries, I mean, you can't get wrong because you're adding weight to this, so. As soon as the next coat dries, you put it back together and check the CG on it.
Yeah.
That was only 0.2.
Yeah.
A lead.
2 rolls of solder on there.
Well, just look at it like this way. Okay, if you get too much on it, you can always go back to the tube muffler and close your line spacing back up again. And that would bring it back more in the realm of probably what it was to begin with. Well, the old airplane was.
Yeah.
So anything you do right now, you're in the ballpark, so you're just sort of flirting with.
Right. The next session on Tuesday will let me know where I'm at.
Yeah, it just takes time. You're not gonna sand or buff anything off of that.
No, it is what it is.
You know, whatever you gain in weight right now is what it is, because it's already gassed off all the thinner. As soon as it dries, it's 90% of that's gone. You can't even measure the weight on the whole airplane of what it gasses off after it initially dries.
I figured if I sprayed that whole quart on, it was 8/10, less than an ounce. If I sprayed the whole quart, that's what it was the first time, but we were painting pretty thin.
Yeah, really thin.
But it's getting that way now too.
Well, to me, that's how I like it. I don't want it to orange peel, because that just means more work and more sanding and stuff trying to get it flat. You know, if you don't have enough thinner in there and it doesn't just lay out smooth like water, just wets out. You know, if it's showing dry spots and patchy spots, then it's not enough thinner. It's got to look wet in one thing. When I shot my airplane, the last clear that I shot on that airplane, I could literally wet a whole quarter of a panel of the wing and it would all be shiny wet when I was done. I couldn't see it drying, you know what I mean, as I went through the whole quarter of a wing panel.
Temperature is different than it is today though.
A little bit, but the humidity was a little bit lower. Because it was 84 degrees, 84 degrees, and it was 58% humidity. And today we got, I don't know what to see
I
here.
wish I wouldn't have set that cowl out on the hood of the car.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Today we got 82 degrees right now and 42% humidity, according to this. That's not what that one says, and we normally go by that one. And it said it was 40% by the Weather Channel yesterday.
84 and 41. So the humidity is dropping.
Yeah.
So maybe that's why it's not blushing.
Well, yeah, and you have a lower target.
When we started, it was 60.
I want to shoot one of those wing cameras.
Go ahead. We'll go down and get a soda.
I mean, when it's time to do it, I want to see something. I want to make sure that you didn't touch anything on the gun, but I mean, I pretty much set that gun up, and then I fiddle around with thinner to get it shooting the way I want it to, and I don't change the adjustments on the gun.
I didn't touch it, it's taped up.
Well, that's just the fan. Like painting with enamel. So I did some soapbox derby cars and stuff for my kids and myself when I was little. I painted my own stuff. My dad made me paint my own stuff. And we normally used enamel car paint, and that was a bear shooting that stuff, but it orange peel on the big time. And then if you put in enough thinner to stop it from orange peel, and then it would run. And then you're always fighting it back and forth, trying to get just that magic little amount to lay it down right. And we didn't have any kind of a heat room or anything like that to help it tack up. And you'd shoot on a mist coat just to add gravel to the surface so that when you got the paint thin enough that it wouldn't run, that little gravel specks on there would sort of hold the paint in place and keep it from running, especially on vertical surfaces. Flat surfaces are easy because it just sort of lays there and just sort of mooshes out. Vertical surfaces are different because they want to run, they want to fall, sag. And you get these big saggy runs in it, and wouldn't be like a long slender run, they'd be just a droop. And there was a fine line between, just the right amount of thinner. And I'm telling them about my experiences with painting enamel on a soapbox derby card. And you know how there was a fine line between having it thin just right where it would lay out, and if you had it too thick, you got that real heavy orange, feel like an Earl Tribe card paint job. $49.95. We'll paint any card for $49.95. Then it went up to $79.95, and then $109.95, and now it's $295.
I remember when it was $29.95. I'll paint any car, any color, $29.95.
Maybe that's what it was, $29.95.
Better tape your windows though.
But yeah, you got to go in there and tape everything off because they'll just shoot the whole damn thing. They'll shoot your tires, your rims, whatever's exposed.
Okay, should be close enough.
But they painted enamel. We come back, we had this Corvair, man. They had so much orange still on it. Oh my God, we sanded and sanded and sanded and sanded.
The famous Earl Scheib.
It goes right along with J.C. Whitney's catalogs.
Yeah. Okay. Let's see if the bagging is out. Yeah, it's close enough. Yeah. I don't know. Takes a while for retarded paint to dry. But I can tell you this, it's gonna polish out nice. There's plenty of clear to sand. Had a slight mishap on the cowl. I set it on the hood of his car in the sun and it bubbled the paint one little dot. So now I gotta sand that, take that off, airbrush it, re-clear it. What a pain.
They get down into the color.
In the, yeah, of course, it's in the blue.
That sucks. That means you'll have to touch that blue.
But this cowl ain't getting no more clear on it. Got plenty of clear. Like 4 coats of retarded paint. Dry.
I think you want to catch it right now. I think you want to go and start getting it, and maybe it'll take, if you get it on good and wet, it'll take some of this out of it.
Go ahead, you wanted to paint a panel. Seven and 14. I'm gonna let John paint a panel on this because it's his gun. We'll see what he thinks if the adjustment's right. 70 ounces.
Yeah. So where you start adding up on
Don't forget to get some on that. Go ahead and hit the other side too. Fuck it. That looks pretty good. Pretty wet. Get you to do the wing. It's your gun, you're used to it. Boy, if it dries like that, man, that'll be nice.
That's how of a dry. Wish them landing gear weren't in there. That sort of.
Yeah, they got no way to hold them, so. I'll just sand around it. Of course, like we were saying, humidity dropped to 41%. That helps. Plus 50% retarded. Hit the other side. I'll do the fuselage and the tail feather. That looks like that helped.
See, the whole thing's wet at once.
Yeah.
Not.
But we got considerably more thinner than when we started.
I went fast enough that this is still runny wet and this is runny wet. That's, if you start seeing dry spots, then you gotta change. You gotta do something different. You gotta either speed up or slow down or thin your paint out or do something different. See, that's straightened out a lot of that orange peel and gravel and stuff.
Okay, let me do the rest of it.
Let's slow down and like I do like all my edge. I do the edge first, and then I come through and I do. So you're just inconsistent. You gotta concentrate more on how far off the surface you are and how fast you're going. Again, and it's practice. That gun's different than the next gun. The next gun, I got 5 of them Harbor Freight guns around here, and every one of them sprays different. That's slicker than a baby's butt.
Yep, I broke the golden rule. A quart of paint is all you get, and that's it. We got about a quart and a half on this. But I would rather have paint on it than lead.
You gonna do this? About it, isn't it?
Turn it over. Other side, keep going. Keep going. Okay.
What do you want? You want the
Elevator the other way.
Yeah. Trying to get some dope into that
yeah.
tissue. Huh?
I figured that. You probably can't put enough on there. Slow down.
Flaps the other way. Now back the other way. I don't know what I'm gonna do about that line there. I'm not gonna get it today, but this line
You're
right
gonna
here.
have to paint it in.
Yeah. I guess that's all the clear for today, huh?
You're not gonna get this right here once. That way again.
wet
All
now.
right. Always paint flat. Anytime I can paint flat, I paint flat. That's what's nice about this damn thing, is because you can rotate it around and make whatever surface you want flat.
You got a little bit of gravel here.
Yeah, a little bit, but I don't think all of it came out, but we got a lot of it out. We'll see how bad that lays down. See, now mine sort of had a little bit of that texture to it, and then when it dried, it just sort of shrank right out of it. This whole airplane's wet now. The whole airplane's wet. Still wet. The wings are wet, that's wet, everything's wet. And it didn't take that long. I'm all for getting out of work. I'm the laziest guy it comes to when it comes to sanding and stuff like that. And if I can make it lay flatter, I'll make it lay flatter. I don't have to sand as much to get any kind of texture out of it to flatten it out. And that's sanding in between. Literally, it should have been, if he had time, should have sprayed on the coat, let it dry. Next day, sanded it flat, sprayed on another coat, let it dry. Next day, sanded it flat, and that's how you add coats of paint. And if you put 7 coats of paint on this and never sand in, you'll work your ass off getting all the stuff out of it. But I can go over a whole airplane in 2 hours and sand it flat with just 1 coat on it. It doesn't take long.
Here, pour this. Which is this trash? No, this is not trash. This is my clear.
That's your clear.
That's your clear. Where's the trash thinner? We need to get some thinner out of that into a jar.
You need to dump this out. That gives us a nice new jar.
Isn't that a bummer about that?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not the end of the world, but would have been nice not to have to deal with it.
Well, that's just more work. That's a lot of work.
Yeah, but I can do that sitting on my couch.
Do that lid on there and shake it around. Don't screw it down tight so that it seeps around the threads, and that'll help clean the threads out.
You want to leave the thinner in or
No,
not?
I don't have to leave anything in it. I'll pour it back in here before rather than spray it all out. And I'll take a clean rag and wipe that out.
So now you guys know that you can fly them and paint them.
Yeah, in the same day.
I think I got plenty clear to sand now and polish.
See how much that's shrinking out of there.
That right there was a bummer too.
Yeah.
What are you gonna do?
Got that, you got that little spot back in here on
That's
one
on
of
the
the
bottom.
flaps on the bottom.
I got this spot over here.
The only thing I don't like about this is it just looks like it's got dust in it or something.
Those are pinholes.
Issue.
Those are pinheads. What are you gonna do?
No, mine did the same thing.
So, for those of you that are still here, in a few minutes, we'll take it off the stand, turn it upside down, put it all together and see how much weight it gained. Put your guess in now. It was 54.2, I think, right? 1535.
Yeah. I probably still got it on my phone. I didn't erase my calculator.
54.1.
Yeah, I had the same number, exact same number.
If we come up to 55, that would be fine with me. If we come up to 65, I give up.
No, that's what my airplane's gonna be in 64. But I had a disadvantage of not the kind of wood that you had either on this airplane.
This is the 0 ounce stunner. You think them guys started that thread because of this airplane?
It may have been because of the talks that we've had, not necessarily this airplane, but see, you're different than me. And you're all out totally build it absolutely as light as I can. If I could build this big airplane right here at 35 ounces, I'd have me a 35 ounce stunner right here. I'd love to be able to do that too. I can't do it. I can build every bit as good as you can. I don't have the materials to be able to do it. If I could get the materials to do it, I'd build them absolutely as light as I could build them.
You can't build light airplanes with heavy wood.
No, it's impossible. Now, I've got the glue thing down over the years where I don't use excessive amounts of glue, so that's a non-issue. You're using too much glue on your joints. You got big fillets around all your joints. Take and wipe all them out. Put a coat of epoxy on there, let it set for a few minutes, wipe the excess off of it. That's all it's going to do. That's all you need on there. All that stuff, down to fine science. Finishing. His diet works. It works. It takes a lot of sanding, but it works. And you're going to get a 6 or 7 ounce finish guaranteed damn near every time, as long as you only use this amount. Now, he's gone to some extremes here on this one because it needs tail weight. So it's probably better off just go ahead and put paint on it instead of lead and just carrying around wasted weight. I agree with that 100%. Let's paint it and get some paint on it and make it tail heavy with paint, or more tail heavy.
The gross weight has to come way up for it to be tail heavy.
And I mean, that alone, that distributes that weight out here instead of having a concentrated chunk of lead back there that probably acts like a barbell, the barbell effect. You know, once you get that started, you got to stop it. And if it's spread out over this, maybe it doesn't. Maybe my logic is wrong, but
Good ask Brett.
well, he could tell you, I'm sure. Maybe he'll say that it doesn't matter. You know, the weight is the weight, and it's still, you got to start and stop it. Yeah. To some
But you know
extent,
what?
But
He is correct, except you can feel it on the end of the handle,
Yeah, you can.
and I don't like it.
But no matter what you do, you're not going to make a 60-inch wingspan airplane with a 60-inch and then it perform like a Geesky Nobler. It ain't going to happen. It's a completely different animal. It's not going to have that snappy turn that the 35, 40 size old stunner of old has.
Yeah, but we can try.
Well, you can push it as far as you can, but it ain't never gonna happen. It's always gonna feel a little different.
This turned out nice. It'll be fine.
I hope so. Hope you don't bitch at me about painting your airplane.
You painted one coat on 4 panels, big deal.
Yeah, but that's a finish, Kate.
The finish is in the sanding. You gonna come and sand it for me?
Kiss my ass. I got my hammer. And I drag my feet on it.
The finish is in the sanding. It's not in the paint. He just saved me a little work, that's all.
The smoother you can get this on, the less sanding that it takes. That's my theory. Like I said, I'm lazy. I don't want to crate work.
But there's enough paint on this now that I can see that I can actually
You
sand.
got something to work with. And before, you really didn't have anything to work with. When you started going in there with 1,000 grit sandpaper and sanding on that, I'm going, well, a couple swipes in there, every bit of that clear is gone.
Yeah, but see, when I hit it with 1,000, it's in certain spots. Like I see some spots here that I'll hit with 1,000.
Right, the really bad spots. Well, I was taking 500 to spots on mine, but I would take a real little corner of that, and I just one little spot, and
I don't want to wait all day, so I just go up,
I had a drip or something where the paint dripped on there, and there was one spot, and I had to get that flat, so I took 500 and just a little circle of motions on that little dot until I made it feather out, enough to where I could take a coat of clear over it, and then it'd make it disappear. But like I sanded through the clear on mine before these last 2 coats that I put on. I sanded through the clear and the paint all the way down to the tissue paper with 3,000 grit sandpaper, and it didn't take long.
Yeah, this thing's got enough clear on it now. The wings are a lot shinier. I can see the clear on it. Before it was, I could see the paper on it.
You see how it looks more like that one in there.
Just wait till you see it the next time. It'll look like a mirror. And I'll start polishing tonight.
It's rushing it for me, but I know you'll do it. But to me, it's irritating to finish because the paint's still too green to really, but you can buff it out and it'll just all on you.
Well,
All you're gonna do is try to get it flat.
right.
You're not really, you'll get a shine to it to begin with, and it'll be flat, but then the shine will go away. And you gotta buff it again.
But it's flat.
But it's flat.
It's easier to sand when it's soft than it is when it's
Yeah,
hard.
you can watch out too, because if it starts dragging too much, it's
Oh, yeah.
really too green, you better lay off and let it dry for a little longer. Yeah, I think that one. I think I got her in there a little bit better. If I can get you to slow down with the paint gun a little bit.
That's not my paint gun,
No, it's you.
I know, my
You
paint
go
gun
to-
puts out more paint than
You
that.
go too fast. And the painting, and Robert will agree with this, is a candling thing too. If you can't see the paint that you're putting down, you don't know where you're at, you're lost.
Yeah.
So you have to make it shiny you have to get at the right angle where you're looking at it and you can see that wet paint going down. Every little stripe that you put back and forth across there, you can see that white. And if you can't move to where you can see it, or get more light, or get something, to where you can see the paint actually going down, it'll help tremendously. I don't have near enough light in there.
No,
That big garage door closed.
That panel there came out the best. That panel, underside, inboard. Paint laid down the best on that panel.
It might have got more paint on it. Who knows? It's not as fuzzy either, like the tissue paper isn't.
Of course, this ain't bad over here either. I mean,
It could be something as little as getting the paper. I know we didn't get the paper on the wrong side out, but you can get the paper on the wrong side out because there's a shiny side and a dull side, and it'll create little fuzzies like.
actually, the whole thing didn't come out bad. About the same as yours.
Close.
You'll be fine.
It helps to get the right thinner in it, man. If you're shooting your paint too thick, you're gonna be working real hard.
That's what happened here. I got the paint on too thick.
If you brush on your paint for too long, here's how I think it is. When you put that tissue paper on, when you put that one coat of clear on there to glue that tissue paper on the top of the tissue paper, you just need to start spraying from there on out.
Yeah, we learned that on this airplane. My old way of finishing was 3 coats brushed on the framework, put on the tissue, 3 coats brushed on, then go to spray. That's dead. So it's 3 coats brushed on. First coat is 100%. The next coats are 50-50. Put on the tissue, 1 coat of brushed on, and that's it. You're done brushing.
Start spraying at that point, and you won't have all them brush strokes in there on top of that tissue paper that you got to try to sand out. And they will be there. I don't care how much thinner you use.
You know those old World War I airplanes they used to paint with a mop, and that's kind of what that paint job looks like on that airplane, with them stripes in there from them brush strokes, painted with a mop.
Mm-hmm. That's because I did the old-fashioned way.
Yeah. But we're learning. I mean, I'm anxious to see how much weight this thing picked up. I'll bet it's now just a 6-ounce finish.
Yeah, probably.
It was a 4.5-ounce finish. Now it's probably 6. So my thoughts on fixing this rudder are going to be, I'm going to take that white paint, I'm going to take the clear. I got thinner in the car. I'm going to sand this, dust on some white with airbrush over there. I'm going to cut a mask, try to get it on there exactly where that is, spray it black, paint a red stripe right along that line on top to hide that seam, and then just shoot some clear dope on it. And that won't, I mean, it's going to take me a week or 2 to get it done, but
Yeah, there's just so much you can do when you're watching paint dry.
But at least now it's ready for Tuesday. I mean, I did fix this so it would be ready for today.
Well, the next bit that you won't have to worry about re-cleaning the whole airplane off. You just have to worry about keeping the fin and rudder cleaned off for additional service.
There won't be any more. And then on this cowl, whatever I did with it, I must have took it out there. I'll just sand that little spot, airbrush that in, and then airbrush some clear on it. And
Just
buff it
like
up.
I did the little repairs on mine, you know, I had little speck here, little speck here, little speck there. Where it, you know what it was? It was flashing, it was flying around in the air or whatever, and I went and shot that coat of clear and it caught that little fleck and glued it right down.
But even if I fix that little spot on that cowl, I ain't gonna get any more points for it.
No, but it'll look better. It'll at least look better. Not too awful hateful, really. Heck, you might get by without even having to do much painting at all. That stuff might just buff right out of there. Wet sand out of there.
With that one little dot there.
That dot right there is the biggest thing, and if you can get it flat and it doesn't go through the glue,
Or I can dab a blue dot on it, sand it, paint it.
I mean, the rest of this stuff will sand out of there. The rest of them will sand double.
Yeah.
They laid down pretty good, actually, from what they were.
Put the wheels back on this thing. We're close enough that I think I can get it off the stand. Start getting her back together. So how long have we been on? 2 hours and 45 minutes. I hope the bounce at the field did not break it. Nope. Didn't hurt it at all. It hurt the rudder, but I repaired that. See, that was an inverted. That was not an upright crash. That was coming down from a reverse wing over, turning, and as I turned, it sunk. I mean, that was a super low pull out. It took 3/4 of an inch off the rudder and broke the propeller. I flipped it upright, went around and ditched it in the grass to kill the engine.
You're fortunate that you got it back upright. It didn't bleed off enough speed that you couldn't pull out of it, you know, and get back on its wheels. Because I was expecting you to land it inverted.
That would have been a disaster.
Yeah, then you probably broke the fin and rudder off. You scraped the canopy up, you scraped the front and nose up.
Yeah. I just came down low, and when I seen them weeds sticking up, I go, this is the right place to stick it in.
Yeah, you got to do it right now. You don't want to go another lap around there and have the whole nose come flying off the thing. That's still really tacky.
Those are decisions that are made in a millisecond, you know. You better be on your toes.
Luckily, you had enough speed that that you just skimmed that ground, and you had enough prop left on there that you could bring it up and around, you know, because literally you could have just gone up like that and stopped.
Yeah.
And the only thing that would save it if you can run backwards fast enough and whip it hard enough to bring it on around. I mean, it can be done.
What happened to that thinner you had?
It's right there.
I was thinking on my toes.
Well, you done that quick. Jerry used to irritate me to death because he'd fly a tank of gas out until it was. He'd be up here doing figure eights and upside down triangles and everything else, and
With a broken airplane?
no, with an airplane that's really 20 laps after he's supposed to run out of fuel.
Well, I wouldn't have done that unless it was an emergency. I mean, if it was just over full.
No, he would do that practicing. He would be flying. He'd do the whole pattern, and then he'd continue to do half of another pattern, you know. And I'm like, man, I said, you sure putting that airplane in a lot of weird positions to be that low on fuel. Catch you off guard at the wrong time. You do dad something at the wrong time.
I wish you'd have been at the team trials. I did this to my SV 100. The wind, you know how hard a nose heavy airplane turns in the wind, right? I have a 70-ounce airplane, PA 75, 14.5 3-blade, McDonnell 3-blade. The wind is howling. I come down, I go, well, we got to make it right to 5 foot. I get to 5 foot, I turn it, and it goes, boom. The rudder and the propeller, it was perfectly level to the ground, 2 inches off the deck. It went, everybody's looking. And I just kept right on going right to where the turn is for the next part of the square. It was square 8 I was doing. And I turned it and I blipped it up like that and I go, well, shit, I'm out of prop. I got to the top and I gave it another turn and then the engine quit and I turned around and landed on its wheels. I got a roof, a free roof for my house out of that airplane.
Wow.
The guy traded me a roof for that airplane. And all I did was skinned a little bit on the wingtip, the rudder, and a little bit on the nose.
You're lucky you have an airplane now.
But it went. Nobody can say I'm afraid of the ground.
Yeah. Sometimes you just don't have any choice. Those low turn pullouts, and if it doesn't turn, or you don't know the sync on it.
I did a sub ground level pullout in Paducah. You ever been to Paducah?
Yeah, and if it do good.
You know how the crown of the runway is like that?
Yeah.
The wind was blowing that way. And it was one of them ass puckering pullouts, but it was under the ground. I mean, if you were standing on the other side of the circle, you lost sight of the airplane. Gone. Not to say that's good. It's not good to do,
No,
but
it's not good to do. That's a ass pucker.
I think
Major thing.
I think this will fix just fine.
The biggest thing was that tissue kept coming up, and until you got dope on it, it's going to keep coming up. That looked like it really laid down pretty good.
Hit it with 600 or 1,000 and dust it out. Like I say, it's going to be a red line right there. I meant it to be that way. We got a problem there, but it's not dry yet.
Is that her line? Is that a low spot, or is that just a sand spot?
I don't know.
I don't feel it.
I can feel that.
Well, yeah, there's a little bump up there, but
I can feel this. I could take some CA and rub on there, but then you got a shiny spot.
don't use dope if you're gonna do anything. Just keep laying the dope on it.
Are we dry enough to take it off the stand?
No, I don't. These wings, the bottom of that one was really pretty tacky. Right here. That's still sticky. Watch. You'll put a fingerprint in it bigger than anything.
You tell it's loose. Look at that.
Yeah. It'll smack back down and it'll shrink up. Like I said, you might be. If the top's dry, you could probably take it off the stand
Yeah,
and set it
top's
out there.
Let me
But
get my ball driver. Well, we got this here.
I snugged them down pretty tight. I don't want to grab it until you got the.
Here, you do this and I'll take it off. That way when I put a fingerprint underneath.
looking for you.
Let me see if I can find a good spot. Okay.
You ready?
Yep. I'll come back and get you. 55 ounces, that's what I'm looking for. Let me get your phone up there. Okay, get your guesses up to how much it weighs. We're looking for 55 ounces with no tail weight. Where's my ball driver?
They're in there.
I don't know what to be doing in there. I set it right here. There it is. How the hell did it get in here? Well, let's go back to the field. We could try it out.
Tommy 10533 says 55.5.
Better not be. I think it's going to surprise you. I think it's going to still be under 55 ounces.
Still pretty wet. Two more coats on the wing, two more on the fuselage, and
4 more on the
4
tail.
more on the stab and elevator.
I laid the paint on big time back there. Because there's not much area back there.
Yeah.
Another reason why to get that solder off of there, doesn't look like I know what I'm doing.
You've got a prop shaft extension,
Yeah,
a carbon fiber fuel tank,
yeah. The lightest spinner they make,
the lightest spinner you can absolutely get.
3/4 ounce propeller.
Yeah. Tiny muffler.
At 0.2.
Lighter wheel well cover, wheel door covers.
Lightest wheels they make. What else can you do?
Yeah, you could probably put them baby buggy wheels on there, but they look like crap. They're
Oh,
probably lighter. They're for rubber powered airplanes or something, or little teeny electric choppers that they look like hell. I see all them airplanes out there in the field that's got them things on. The airplane weighs 70 ounces.
yeah.
And You know, half an ounce of good difference.
So true. I think them stupid baby buggy wheels on a 70-ounce airplane.
Yeah, oh yeah. I need to get some weight down in this thing, man. Shit. Put some old Vico wheels on there, weigh about 4 ounces.
If I could run the banner wheels, I'd like to. They look cool, man.
Oh yeah, I got the hubcaps and stuff on them. They're neat looking. Too bad they didn't make nice. You know, those are really hard to put on because you got to put a little
Notch.
Put a notch in the wire and all that stuff. It's got to be pretty accurate and the length. And they don't give you any extra to play with on that. But that's when, you know, they took pride in making things back then, you know, and that was, you know, how many people would have put a screw-on hubcap on a car rim, you know? Come on, people, let us know. What do you think this thing's gonna weigh now? We have 13 people watching.
How many guesses?
One
One?
guess. Well, your fingers can't be that tired. You can peel them off that ice cold beer for long enough to type in a weight.
Anybody yet?
55.5. There we go. 58.2. Keep them coming, boys. Type it in there. Let us know what you think it weighs. 54.8. That's 3. We got 15 people watching. Let's get 10 more anyway. Not everybody's working with epoxy right now. We're waiting for it to dry. We're hoping that doesn't kick off until you get done. While you're at it, hit the thumbs up, like, share. Super chats are always nice.
Yeah, we haven't seen any of them in a while.
Got to help the metrics of this channel stay up, so all that stuff helps. Always make sure you put a thumbs up. I do that every time, the first thing when I come in, every time I give it a thumbs up. I already know that I'm going to do something, and believe you me, even though me and Sparky are sitting here doing this stuff, we still learn things. We learn from each other, we feed off of each other, we question each other's actions. Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? Well, I don't do it like that. Well, you don't have to do it the same, get the same results. There's more than 1,000 ways to skin the same cat, so just because it's different doesn't necessarily mean it's wrong. It just means it's different.
Did you get a lap speed on the last flight I had?
5.2, 5.23 upright and 5.24 inverted.
Need to slow it down a little bit. That motor needs to have that bark. I've been running Super Tiger 60s over 40 years. And I think they're the best engine out there.
Well, they actually made a good product off the board. You know, the only thing a Super Tiger could have done, and not that I don't think they really had it back then, was the ABC piston and liner. If it could have been AAC with an aluminum liner, aluminum piston, all the better. That means the motor will weigh a lot less. You've got better metallurgy that way.
Is that what this is now, or is ABC?
It's ABC, aluminum, brass, and chrome. AAC is aluminum, chrome.
It don't last as
A
long.
PA is AAC. And the reason for doing that was thermal expansion of all the metals are more consistent because everything's the same materials, with the exception of the chrome plating. So you get a more consistent run. I'm not so sure that the aluminum liners don't run just as long as the brass ones, but they do weigh less. You know, they're harder to make because, you know, you've got to be able to clamp that thing and bore it and everything and be accurate without distorting it. And the same for, you know, the case has got to be perfect. And
Man,
but you save probably an ounce and a half.
is there any forceps over here?
No, I don't have any up here. Them big giant ones, they're in that left cabinet on the bottom, somewhere in there. They're big, long, giant things.
That'll work.
They're huge.
I don't see them.
They're laying flat in there and sort of in the back. On the bottom shelf, I think.
I don't see them.
They're underneath all that stuff.
I don't see them. Nope.
Oh, I know they're in there. I put them in there.
Why would you hide them in there like that?
That wasn't intentional, I just put them in there and I put that foot on top of them.
These are painting forceps.
Those are them really deep boogers. Ones that give yourself a lobotomy.
Or COVID test. This spinner is so tricky to get on. It's the only thing I don't like about it.
So we got Tommy 10533 at 55.5. Yagna 58.2. Banshee 15, 54.8. And Annie Scardino. Jeff says 56.
Well, we're fixing to find out.
Excuse me if I pronounce you guys' names wrong. My apologies. This young man was very fortunate that he didn't bust this thing in half behind the wing. Very fortunate.
Skill.
Wouldn't have been for some quick reflexes, it would have been.
Okay. Let's weigh it up. You can start to feel it's picking up some girth.
Hold on. Bottles. Sitting a little lower in the back.
1561.
$55.08.
Let's see where it balances. Still pretty damn nose heavy. Right there. What do you think?
Well, I think he moved back some. It's about where it was balanced out the field this morning.
Without the solder hanging on it. That looks so Mickey Mouse. $55.08 ounces. Why is your plane pulling your arm off? It's not.
You know, my Sunoco airplane at 63 ounces, it compared to my other airplane, it is phenomenal the difference in mine tension. It's just
Fly this one time. It's like flying a 35 size airplane.
yeah, that's how I feel like with that 63 ounce plane.
Now it's back to sanding and polishing.
I mean, you start looking at 8 ounces difference, 10 ounces difference, that's a lot. Centrifugal force, you know, because that weight goes up, that pole goes up with weight tenfold.
I'm happy. I mean, I don't know what I'll have to do if I need to move the CG farther back, more clear. I guess I could drill a hole in the rudder and pour some lead in it.
You don't have to pour it in there, you can just wrap it around the tail wheel until you get it to where you want it, and then weigh that up and take a piece of tungsten or something the same weight and drill a little hole and stick it in there and glue it. You can get tungsten in the fishing stores or fishing section, tungsten sinkers and stuff like that.
It ain't heavier than lead.
Tungsten's heavy.
It's heavy, but it ain't heavier than lead.
Probably not, but
Can't get less.
you probably can. I got sheet lead. I mean, that kind of stuff. But
I just hate to put it in one spot.
well,
So it went from 54.1 to, or, yeah, it was 54.1 to 55.2. So it was an ounce and a tenth, or whatever.
an ounce basically. For 2 saturated coats of paint.
Yeah, they were wet. So we got it worked out. It works out to a ½ ounce per coat. So this finish now is a 5.2
That's
ounce finish.
thinned as much as we thin it now. Gotta be a
Caveat.
disclaimer, you know, there that this isn't 50-50 day. 70-30.
This is not a 6 ounce finish. This is a 5 ounce finish on this airplane. Not bad, and it don't look like it, does it?
No, that's cause all the sanding. It'll be a very respectable airplane when all is said and done. And to do that, I want to know, anybody else out there whoever's done finishes on airplanes can appreciate the fact that it could very well easily have been,
A 15 ounce finish.
yeah, at least 10, at the least 10, and then going on up from there.
There's really no paint on it.
No, hardly any. If you're talking to me, Frog Martin, about me holding my handle with 2 hands, the only reason I was doing that was I got a lanyard on my hand that I fly with, and I was just getting tired holding on to the airplane. It wasn't that it was pulling me off. I just given my right arm a little rest by, flying with my left hand there. I really didn't have any weight on the right hand, even though it was in the handle. But I can't let my arm angle down. So I was only flying 6-second laps. That thing felt like a 35 size airplane out there on the end of the lines. Yeah, no pull.
So you see I was at 5.2. I need to open up needle valve another 1/8 of a turn.
5.22, basically, upright and inverted. You were a couple tenths off.
1/8 of a turn more open.
I mean, you could probably shim the tank a piece of paper or something like that and get it a little closer, but that's,
I'm not gonna worry about a tenth.
you know,
It's not even a tenth.
Yeah.
100th. I want it to go a little faster on inverted than upright.
Yeah, I do too. I normally like it a little bit faster inverted. Yeah, just, I don't know, confidence thing or whatever. but I'm not noticeably faster, you know, just a touch, just about like what you got. You're pretty good, upright and inverted.
Better be your Kaz, I want my money back.
Well,
Them tanks ain't cheap.
I'm wondering if you could ever fix one if you had anything go wrong with, because they're not gonna last forever.
No,
They got aluminum tubing in them,
I don't think, no, it's
copper.
copper.
I think they found out that aluminum doesn't work with carbon, that
Doesn't work with methanol.
it's got a chemical reaction to it or something. And copper or brass splits, so you don't want to use brass tubing in the fuel tank. If you ever start having an engine run problem off the wall after you've been flying your airplane for a while and all of a sudden you're having an engine run problem, check your fuel tank and see if you've got brass tubes in it. If it's got brass tubes in it, it can have a split in a 3-inch long piece right in the center of it. Right in the center of the length, the split, it'll run long ways with it. You replace it with copper and you won't have that happen anymore.
So you think the CG's about where it was with the wire on it, huh?
Yeah, pretty close.
I got some more solder in case Tuesday I need to move it back, but I don't think I will.
You know, the handle adjustment that you made helped a lot, as long as it's getting a turn that you want, because it was turning and going straight, so it's got the traits that you like.
Mm-hmm.
You know, with it being a little nose of it, you know, turning and locking a little bit easier. Might not necessarily be a good thing in the wind.
Airplane, it doesn't affect it when it's this light. It does when it's heavy.
Well, I'm talking about turning and locking and not bouncing in the wind. Because you know how airplanes, when especially heavy airplanes, obviously they won't turn in the wind.
Not if they're nose heavy.
Not if they're nose heavy.
I know this well.
Well, you know, Joe Reinhardt made those handles up. They hadn't thought them. You could put your lines out that far.
Yeah.
And he did that for a reason. He'd like to get a fast turn and have a stable airplane. So he ran a nose heavy airplane with a lot of handle. But it could kill you, because that means you're moving these surfaces a lot further. It's acting like a big brake.
I think it'll be better. I think we're there. And like you said, if not, if I have to go back the other way, I can put the other muffler on it.
Yeah, you're within adjustable range, easily adjustable range. If Nick come to pick, like I say, tungsten, I don't know.
Well, I guess that's going to do it, guys. I'm going to head back to the apartment. You can join me tonight for an hour or so of sanding. We will attack this with some 2000 grit and see if we can get it to lay down flat. And get her polished up to where it was. And work on that rudder a little bit.
What weighs more, lead or tungsten?
Lead by far.
Tungsten is denser than lead, which means it's heavier than the same size lead.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah. So I had a set of tungsten darts. I went from brass darts to tungsten darts because I got more weight in this box and half the size of the package, you know. I didn't like big fat darts, so I went to tungsten and I got these little skinny darts.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. I'll see you tonight. I'm gonna take it home and start sanding and getting her ready to go for Tuesday. Fair winds, tight lines. Let's go, Brandon. See ya.
It says the tungsten blocks is heavier than the same size lead block.